Welcome to the Energy Healing Hour. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate that. So my name is Shara Ogin. I'm an intuitive coach. And a lot of people often ask how I got into this work or if I was born with this ability. And I'll just briefly tell you that before I was doing this work, I was in the medical field. I was an occupational therapist and an ergonomist, and I did some company presentations, which I loved. I loved that work. And however, I was lacking deeper meaning in my life. I was lacking partnership, and I was lacking the sense of confidence and feeling fulfilled. And so I entered into a clairvoyant training about 10 years ago. And a few years into the training, everything in my life started to shift. As I developed the ability to see what was getting in the way for me, I developed the ability to clear these things and to create more space, more balance within inside myself, and to call in what I wanted. So I called in partnership. My first real boyfriend, I would say, who's my husband now. And I bore a child at the age of 1 month before my 47th birthday. And I blew out of the waters a lot of my limiting beliefs and my lack of confidence and things like that. And then shortly after that, I started to do that for other people. So today, my intention is to help you to clear from the feelings of stress and ungroundedness and anxiety and overwhelm, and rather replace that feeling with a feeling of calm and clarity. And in a moment, we'll get to some specific questions that some of you might have. And so my intention is to help you to clear the boundaries, the blocks on whatever it is that you actually want to manifest in your life, be it love, career satisfaction, or personal fulfillment. So if that resonates with any of you, raise your hand. All right. Oh, cool. All of you. Wonderful. Okay. So we're going to start off with a grounding meditation, and then I'll open it up to some one-on-one readings and healings. And then we'll end with a closing. All right, so let's just go ahead and shut our eyes and come into a meditation space. Take a few breaths. Okay, so right off the bat, we are so out there. Like basically what I mean by that is our energy has moved out of our body and is out there and all over the place. There's a lot of scatteredness in the world right now, scattered energy. And so let's begin this by dropping into our physical bodies. So go ahead and call back your energy from everywhere you left it. Call it in through the crown of your head. Go ahead and call it in. And imagine like streamers coming back. You can imagine them, gold light streamers coming back through the crown of your head and going to every cell of your body, coming all the way down. All the way down to your feet and all the way down into the earth. Now, this is definitely a theme for Helen and and I'm guessing other people here on the call. The theme being our grounding cord. And one of the blocks it looks like is that we don't quite know where to plant our grounding cord. And if you're curious what I mean by grounding cord, this is an imaginary, like I think of it like a tree trunk that's between your two legs that stems down from the base of your spine all the way into the center of your earth. So through our intention, and I'm going to invite you to use a little bit of imagination here, just imagine from the base of your spine that there is a line or a tree trunk going all the way down to the center of the earth. And see if you can make it a little bit more straight. Good. You're all doing really great. The power of intention is really strong. Go ahead and take a few breaths. And as you exhale, let go of everything you've been holding on to. So the word I'm really hearing is release. So inhale oxygen, exhale, release everything you've been holding on to. And there's a lot here. Inhale, exhale, release. Do it 2 more times, 2 more cycles of breath. Inhale oxygen, expand your lungs. Exhale, 1 more time. Now Now, I want you to inhale again. Now, this time, raise your shoulders up to your ears and hold it here for the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale, release your shoulders all the way down. Do that again. Inhale, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it go down even lower. And I invite you to come to a place of stillness. So on this call, a lot of what we'll be talking about is clearing blocks on manifesting what we want. But one of the primary places to begin is with our foundation. Our foundation could be our home, or we're just planting ourselves to where we are in the here and now, coming into acceptance and congruence with whatever is going on in your life, or with the current state of the planet. There's a lot of resistance. Feel how much resistance you have to that right now. And take a moment and sense, what does resistance feel like in your body? For me, it feels like a tightening around my throat, a tightening in my jaw. And ask yourself, what are you resisting right now? What are you resisting in your life? Which is the same question as what are you resisting in your body? And how is it showing up for you, this resistance? Let your bottom jaw drop from your top, so part your teeth a little bit. And then ask yourself, who would you be if you let go of that resistance just a little bit more? And imagine yourself being that person. So I'm going to repeat, one of the first steps towards manifesting what you want and attracting what you want your way is to create your foundation and to ground into it. However uneasy it is, whether you had a death in the family or you're in poverty, whatever the circumstances. And when you do that, when you ground into the experience that's less comfortable, such as a death in the family, or whatever's going on in the world, all the war, the killings that are going on every day in the paper, what will happen is we'll experience our emotions even more so, and the emotions can be very uncomfortable. But this is also an aspect of being human. And there's a lot of sadness right now. I'm sensing it in all of you. There's a lot of sadness. So just take a moment and presence your sadness. Put your hand on your heart and breathe into your hands. So if it feels like what you want is that carrot that keeps moving one step further away, that's the image I just saw for all of you. But then stepping back, like as opposed to like, I gotta have it. When we step back from that like grasping kind of energy, it could go one of two ways. One could be acceptance and presence, where the other way could be defeat and exhaustion. So see if any of that resonates for you. But then in the midst of that, we're driven to stand up and fight to the next level. No, I refuse to accept this as my reality. I'm going to make a higher income. I'm going to move to a place that's better. I'm going to get out of this family situation, whatever it is. So all of that I feel with you right now. So I'm going to go into the healing segment. I'm putting some gold light into your chakras, starting 7th, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd. The defeat really is in your 3rd. It's almost like this exhaustion, or maybe putting more effort into what you're doing work-wise, but it's almost like you're putting in more effort than it's paying off is what it looks like. Okay, second chakra is what I see in the second chakra for you is like wanting to pull out cords from other people. A lot of people's energy sticking on you, and hence almost like choosing isolation. So having the feeling of almost too much isolation. Okay, so I'm putting gold light in your second, and now back to the first. Okay, great. Well, you've all done a really great job on getting your grounding cord. All right, so let's end this meditation with a healing energy. The healing vibration that wants to come in is a lavender color. And so imagine the color lavender coming in through the crown of your head. And this color is representing original essence, which means the blueprint for your life, why you chose a body. Let it split out your throat, the lavender color, and go out your shoulders, elbows, arms, and fingers. And let it trickle down torso, pelvis, thighs, knees, feet, and down into the earth. And then when you're feeling complete with this healing, go ahead and bend forward and touch the ground. This is what I call balancing your energy. This is how I end all of my readings and healings. So go ahead and bend forward and balance. And that releases any excess energy that got stuck onto you, off of you. And it sets the vibration for the rest of the day. So go ahead and tune into how you're feeling now as you come up. Take a few breaths. Somebody says, I'm feeling calmer and quieter. Thank you so much. Okay, so next, what's going to happen is we're going to move on to one-on-one psychic readings. And the way this is going to work is I'm going to shut my eyes. I put up my imaginary reading screen, and I ask you for a question, something you would like information, healing, or guidance around. And then I will look at whatever shows up on my screen as what's relevant, and I'll see what needs to be cleared, what information is relevant, and we'll set the intention to release anything that I say that's not in your highest good, and to call in a vision of what is your highest good towards the end. Now, what I found from these circles, and I also call them synchronicity circles, is when I read and look at the energy of one person, it often relates to all the other people who are either on the call or listening to the live later. It's an interesting theme that tends to weave through everybody that shows up. So it's really amazing. So when you ask a question and you allow yourself to get vulnerable and share, then it's often helping more people. It's like trickling out to other people. Okay. So we're going to send the energy, we're going to set the intention to send love and support to whoever's asking the question, and then from them, through them, to everybody else. All right. Do we have any questions before we dive into this part? Okay, great. Let me just set the context here. Let me call in my guides and helpers and anybody on my end who would be most helpful for this reading. And let's call in your guides and helpers. And let's set the intention for healing for all, love, support, and next steps. Okay, great. Now I'm ready. So if I have permission to read your energy, please say, I accept this healing.
I accept this healing.
Great. So how can I help you today?
I would like to get some guidance on where I should, what should I do in terms of my spiritual growth? Is there any specific area that I should focus on? Because for the last couple of years, I've been trying different modalities, and it's just kind of scattered.
Yeah. So the like overall lesson for you is trust yourself, like trust your own voice. I mean, that is the overall theme of all the spiritual healings, is to hear that inner voice and listen to it. But I do see when I look at your energy that there is kind of that, you know what, there's so many people who are in the same boat as you. And every time I tell people what I do, I'm a Feldenkrais practitioner, I do clairvoyant work, they're always like, oh, have you heard of this modality? Have you heard of this modality? And from the get-go, I'm like, no, I get good at what I do. And I don't try to muddle it with getting to know everything out there. I did for a time. I was very curious about everything in my 20s. So it's okay to keep exploring until you feel your yes. But the thing is that's a good place to start, is just learning what your yes is. So let's go ahead and do this with everybody. Go ahead and everybody put your hands onto your heart and wait until you feel your heartbeat into your hand. And then when you feel your heartbeat into your hand, ask yourself to your heart, what's something I absolutely, without a doubt, love? Like, it could be your car, it could be your cat, it could be your computer. So think of one specific thing. And it's the first thing that comes to mind. Like, if you have a daughter, it's okay that you didn't choose your daughter. Now, ask yourself, do I love this thing? And see how your body responds, especially from your heart, when you listen to your heart. And you might feel a little bit of like leaning in, like, ooh, that feels good. Like your pores may open a little bit more. Okay, so you all with me with feeling your yes? Okay, now this is your yes. Good, thumbs up. Okay, great. Now let's feel your no, okay? So now everybody connect to your heart. And what's one thing you despise? Like, it could be spinach. Okay, take a moment, think about what is one thing that you dislike. And then nod your head when you have it. Okay, great. Now ask yourself, do I like this thing? Do I like this thing in my life? And see how your body responds. Okay. And you might notice your body like leaning back a little bit more. Your kind of body contracting and coming more into this posture as opposed to the open posture. So once again, ask yourself that same question and notice how your body responds. Okay, everybody with me? Good so far? Okay, now Zoya, I want to kind of start to feel like what feels good, like it's like hot versus cold. And so you want to start going towards what feels warm and hot and going away from the things that, are maybe more cold. So give me an example and I'll look at it psychically as well. What's one thing, one of the like directions you're going?
So I've been exploring singing bowls modality.
Okay, great. So let's just take a moment and look at that. Okay, just do one at a time. Okay, now put your hand onto your heart and ask yourself to your heart, are you a yes or are you a no on the singing bowls? And take a moment because I want to look at this too for you. Okay, I got my answer, but you go first.
I got maybe.
I got something similar like that. I got like, it's kind of nice and it's nice. It's also kind of a social activity because, you could always bring singing bowls into pretty much any kind of healing, kind of thing. You could do it at home, and so it's there's something that's kind of neat about it for you. I'm thinking for you, not for me. And, but it looks more like hobby rather than like career, so it looks good as far as like that, like I wouldn't put your job for that, but but if you're doing it and you're enjoying it and you're like, it's a hobby, like maybe take one more class, kind of like that is what I see. Okay, what's another one? Would you like to do another one?
Yes, Reiki.
Okay, so put your hand onto your heart and ask yourself to your heart, is Reiki a yes or a no from you right now in my life? Because everything one at a time. You have a long life ahead of you to do everything that you want. Okay, but for right now, how does Reiki look?
Looks good. Yes.
Okay, great. So then maybe you could either practice that more or take another class, whatever a yes looks and feels like for you. You got it?
Yeah.
You good with this?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. I'm gonna send you off with that.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
So my best friend died about 5 years ago. And we weren't on good terms. And like, because I can't even talk about it without crying. Guess I just wonder, have I let myself grieve, or have I been like trying not to, like holding it in? I just feel like, because I can't think about her or talk about her without getting upset.
Mhm. Is guilt one of the strong emotions you feel?
Yeah, I guess a lot, because we drifted apart and I was mad and stubborn, and I obviously regret that now because I lost out on a bunch of time with her.
Okay, I have a few things here. Thank you for sharing that. So I could really feel your heart. So I'm sending you some compassion to your heart. So thank you for sharing this. So what I want to share is it's time to stop blaming yourself, and it's time to stop feeling so that you did something wrong. And a lot of this has to do with forgiveness and anger that has never been healed from your childhood. The anger looks like it's mainly towards your mother. And there's some of the same physiological patterns that look like they're being replicated here. You're so much, I mean, really, you are your worst enemy. You're so much beating yourself up. And it's time. In fact, I would love to give you a homework assignment after this. And this is to write a forgiveness letter to yourself. Because in some way you were doing the best you could at that time, and that was your defense mechanism when you're growing up, when your parents or somebody in your family did unto you, which happened a lot. Then you responded by stonewalling and by maybe some manipulative anger and some resentment. And it looks like this pattern, it was like that trigger button got kind of pushed here somewhere along the line with your friend, and it brought up that pattern. And it's just so painful to have ended this relationship here, when it's like, I see the first thing when you started talking was I saw you saying, wait, I want to finish this business, like wait, like kind of like wait, almost like when you're in a disagreement with a friend or a lover and you're like, wait, we need to talk about this. We need to get together. What a lot of people don't know is that we can actually heal or clear whatever is going on between you and another person without them actually being there. Because oftentimes in our life, even with the living, people will be unresponsive to complete the disagreement or the conflict. Or to do this right, it would be a longer session. Because I work a lot with the dead and I do communication back and forth. But I will do a briefer session with you right now. And this is, do you mind sharing the name of this person?
Andrea.
Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to update the contract, the energetic contract between you and Andrea. You could do this with people when they're living or they're dead because their energy is still here. So I invite you, and if this resonates with anybody else, you could do this for somebody you've lost that you love. Go ahead and shut your eyes and imagine Andrea outside of your arc field. Arc field is like an egg shape around you, protective field. Okay, so there's Andrea outside. I usually start just by looking at what's going on, what are they doing? She's kind of wandering, kind of unattentive, kind of looking the opposite way. So use my intention to turn her towards you. And okay, we'll just take a moment and do this. What is it you wanted to say to her that you were unable to say when she was living?
Well, all right. So she almost had an overdose and went to rehab. And when I found that out, I wrote her a letter and I mailed it. And then she ended up like going into cardiac arrest and was in the hospital in a coma, and then taken off of life support. And I never heard from her, which I understood. She had a lot that she had to deal with herself. And I guess I know for a fact that she did receive my letter and she read it because she did tell her mom about it. And I guess just knowing that she read my letter, like, I'm just so grateful for. But the fact that like she didn't reach out, I guess, is I don't know. It's just, when I wrote that letter, I didn't think that I would never be able to talk to her again.
Mhm. Yeah. So what it looks like is that you wanted some sort of reassurance through her response back. And we actually all do this to some degree. Like if you think you did something bad, like you want to hear back from them, how bad was this thing I did? How bad am I a person? It's kind of like other people are our feedback monitors to our own self. And so it's because you never heard back from her. It looks like there's been this question mark in your head. How bad of a person am I? How bad was I? And what I see going on for you is you feel like you're a really bad person. Like you almost feel this undeservingness. And I see this in like your seventh chakra, the energy above you kind of squashing down on you, preventing this limit of how much you could grow and expand in any field, career, your awesomeness, your ability to receive pleasure, all of those things. There's this, you're like cutting yourself off from expanding in that direction because you believe you don't deserve it because you're a bad person. Just take a breath, because I want to just pause here at how many other people could relate to any of this going on. And if you do, feel free to write in the chat. But let's just take a breath here, and I'm going to send some energy into right here, your throat, your heart. There's this holding in energy. And with the holding in comes a multitude of factors, such as hoarding of, like, say, clothes or stuff in your house or food. It's holding in emotions. It's holding in expression. So this is the pattern. And I, Shara, give you the permission to actually release it. It's a choice. Release all that you're holding on to. Guilt. And even if you're only ready to release a little bit, that's golden, okay? So I'm not saying you have to release all of it right now, but do you feel ready to release some of this going on right now?
I want to.
Yeah, okay. Well, how about I invite everybody here to support you? And as we help you to release, we're actually doing this for ourselves, and that's a super cool thing. So follow me. Let's just take some breaths. Inhale. And as you exhale, through your breath, see yourself blowing away all these things that you resonate with that I said, guilt, I'm a bad person, undeservingness. Do it again. Inhale. Exhale, just release a little bit more. Because if you're unable to do this, first of all, you'll get physical ailments in your body. But second of all, you won't be able to step into your full magnificence in this lifetime. Do you have children?
I have stepchildren and grandchildren.
Okay. Well, they want this for you. Okay. Because their kids are like a mirror for their parents. So the more that you step into your worthiness, the more energetically you are a role model for them. So stick with me here just a little bit more. Let go a little bit more. You actually did really good. I could already feel the difference. You're doing actually really good. A few more breaths. Inhale and exhale. Keep blowing it away, releasing it from you. And one more last breath collectively for everybody. Okay, now feel if you feel just a little bit lighter. And by the way, in the chat, several people said they resonate with this. Feel if you feel your body just a little bit lighter. I wouldn't be surprised if after this call, you went and walked around and you felt a little bit lighter, like less of a heavy downstep when you walked. And now to complete this healing, there's this cord from Andrea that's connected into your heart. Just use your imagination and follow me here, okay? So we're gonna pull out the cord from her that's connected into your heart. So we're just gonna release her energy. She's still gonna be here. It's just release the energy and that dynamic that you have been relating. And we're gonna raise it up to the universe, explode it into a million pieces, and recycle her energy back to the universe. All energy is recyclable. And now lastly, let's call back her energy one last time. And we're going to make our final contract together. And what I hear her saying to you is she wants you to be free. She wants you to enjoy this lifetime. Stop halting yourself from moving forward. She wants this for you. And when I look at your energy, the contract from you, you actually want to, it's almost like you still want to hear from her that, like, reassurance that you're not a bad person. But I will tell you, for me, you're not a bad person. I could tell a bad person's energy, and you are not. You have good intention for the world. You are a good person. So stop locking yourself away like that. Because every time you shrink and you hold yourself back and you doubt yourself, and it might come out like stuttering or being garbled with your words, that's holding back energy. So I want you to end with making a vision. What would it look like if you were just a little bit more free? For one thing, it looks like her energy would be released from you, and you could still connect with her as a friend, like as if she was still here. Like sometimes I have a friend named Sarah, let's say, and I'll say to myself, what would Sarah say in this situation? Or should I call Sarah, ask her opinion, that kind of thing. You could still have that dynamic. Most of the time we know what our friends are going to say, mostly. The image I see for you now is there's like this line in the sand that goes around you, and you're stepping out of the fire pit and you're crossing the line. Just see yourself in this image, crossing out to the other side of the line, which is resembling stepping into your freedom. This looks like spaciousness inside your body. This looks like when you take a breath, your ribs actually expand from one another. Feel your ribs expand as you breathe now. So I could already see you are more free than you were 10 minutes ago. So this is a choice point right now. You have the choice to keep going in this direction towards your freedom, towards self-acceptance and self-love. And forgiveness is kind of like the prerequisite for that. Versus staying in the stuck spot, which is, we all know a woman, the man broke up with her and she never was able to heal herself to go on to the next, right? So don't be that woman, don't let another person stop your growth and your evolution. And with that, I think I'm going to complete with everybody here. So I invite everybody for our last healing. Let's just all come together for a group, as a group. Let's all take a collective breath together. And let's all give love to Amber, first of all, and release her with love and kindness, compassion. And let's give love to the other people who spoke today. And let's give love to everybody here in the circle. And go ahead and receive, take in the love of the circle that we've created here today. Just take it in. And then send the energy out into the world. Send it out a little bit further. Send it out. Send out the love from your heart. It's a rippling effect to other people in this world. And then let's end by taking gold light in from the crown of your head. Take the gold light in. Let it split out your throat, go out through your arms, out through your fingers. And let the gold light travel through your torso, pelvis, legs, knees, feet and down into the earth. So I apologize if I was unable to get to everybody today, but come back next month and you are welcome to have a reading then. Okay, well, I'm going to leave you with this message that you are awesome and you have all of the information inside of you that you need to take the next level forward. And with that, we are complete. Thank you for joining us today.